Hello, Bakugan Brawlers, old and new. I am Darkus, owner of the Bakugan Generations Project. What is the Bakugan Generations Project, you might ask? Well, it's a project that has been inspired because of the reboot, and a lot of the downsides of the reboot. So one of the downsides of the reboot is the prior 4 seasons of the old show, when it, very first time people had ever saw it. The Bakugan Battle Brawlers, New Vestroia, Gundala Invaders, and Mectanium Surge are the 4 different seasons. Those seasons have no weight on the reboot whatsoever. The only returning names are Dan, Drago, and Shun. Shun has been completely reinvented. He's not black-haired. He's blonde-haired and uses Aquos now instead of Ventus like he did in the old show. So Shun is essentially not a returning character. It's just a reused name. Dan and Drago are also reimagined in a lot of ways, so nothing from the old show really translated over. So the downside with that is basically old fans like me don't have any sort of nostalgia pickup with this show. As far as we're aware, there's not going to be any sort of homage to the old series, and that's where I wanted to fix that. So this project is going to take a little bit of time to get started. The first iteration is going to be a little more rough. It's going to be not as streamlined and perfect as it could be. So this is going to be a Discord server with a custom coded bot. You're not going to find this bot anywhere else unless someone steals it from me somehow. It's going to be completely automated at the when I'm fully happy with the release of it, and there's no more features I want to add or things I want to tweak. It's going to be 100% automated. You're going to join the server. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to then create your brawling identity. So you'll make your name, age, gender, personality. Might be able to include a picture, but I'm unsure on that yet. And then you're going to be able to pick 6 old Bakugan and 6 new Bakugan. So you can have two complete teams from the new season, or from the new reboot season, and then 2 complete teams from the old season. Bakugan from the old series. Every single one will return. Bakugan that were only released for the actual card game. Like, there were some Bakugan that were only released for the card game at that point in time. Those will more than likely return if I can find enough information on them to merit adding them. A lot of people wanted Leonidas and Vladitor, I think his name was, from the first video game version, to be characters. I am not against adding them as characters you can take. So if you really like Leonidas or Vladitor from the video game, you might be able to actually use them for this Discord server. And then characters will come back as the hero cards in the reboot. So it's going to use the entirety of the new brawling system, but you're just adding all the old characters, old abilities, stuff like that in. So when it comes to things that aren't quite Bakugan, but should still be merited, would be traps. Traps, battle gear, Baku Nano, and I think those are the 3 I'm going to focus on. Gate cards are probably going to be repurposed as Baku cores, maybe with some tweaks and stuff to the effects. Traps are probably also going to be repurposed as Baku cores. They're going to be trap Baku cores similar to what you'd find in the Bakugan Fan Hub app. If you ever went onto, the Google Play Store or the App Store for Apple or iPhones. If you've ever went onto that, search Bakugan Fan Hub, you can actually play a version of the new Bakugan in that app, except it's the simplified version. You just roll your Bakugan out onto the Hive Matrix. If you stand, you compare the math, and that's it. There's no abilities, no deck, no nothing in that version. But there are trap cores that you place. So those trap Bakugan are probably going to be repurposed as trap Baku cores, where if the opponent lands on them, it actually harms them as opposed to helps them in some way. I might make those be... There might be, some different effects for the different traps, depending on what trap that particular core is inspired from. So they might not be direct translations from the past series, but they are going to be homages. And it's going to take me time. I'm more than willing to get, or, you know, to receive some help with this from the community as well. I'd like this to be something the community helps build as well. I don't want this to be something I only create from scratch. If people out there are like, yeah, I really liked some of Helios's abilities from New Vestroia, I want to, you know, make some cards for them. And you want to make a card and show the effect and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to instate it in the Discord server if I feel it's balanced. A lot of the new stuff is going to need a lot of playtesting, so I might have a particular section on that server, on this Discord server, where you can try out beta stuff. I'll release beta card lists, and then you guys can brawl with a beta list. Or I'll make a whole new server for beta testing. I'm not sure yet. As for Battle Gear, Battle Gear will probably be something completely new that I'm going to add. They're going to become abilities, as in like equip cards and stuff that you could get from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or other card games, where they're going to be attribute neutral. The thing with the new style is most cards can only be used by certain attributes. I don't necessarily think Battle Gear should be held to that standard. That might change if I find that people are just loading their decks up with with tons of attribute neutral cards. I don't really want to go that route. I might have to make it so whatever attribute the Battle Gear was used on in the show is whatever attribute it has to be used on in the game. So I don't know which of those versions I'm going with yet. It might be so, say, Air Core, which I believe was Darak's Battle Gear. It'll only be usable on Darkest types, for example. So that's something I need to decide upon when the time comes. I'm focusing on getting the new brawling style and code working correctly before I go back and adding in all the old stuff. But I wanted to announce this project because I think it's actually a really cool idea, and I want people to get hyped about it and be willing to help if any of you out there are JavaScript coders, because I'm actually going to be setting it up in JavaScript. So the TLDR of this, this project's going to be a Discord server that is going to meld old and new. Old characters, old Bakugan, old Battle Gear, traps, Bakunano, etc. are going to be repurposed into the new brawling style. So we're melding old and new. That's why it's called Generations. It's taking the first generation of the show and melding it with the second generation of the show. Oh, one thing I do need to mention. Subterra is going to remain an attribute on this, in this project. It is part of the old series. I don't want it to be lost. There are, albeit rare, amounts of fans out there that loved Subterra. I don't want them to fall behind and feel forgotten like they kind of have done in the new series. I'm not against what they did because Subterra was the least popular attribute. Now, this is going to take time. So those of you that are all excited for this project, step back a second. It's going to take a moment. Look at it. So for those of you that do happen to know a coding language that can help code bots and you happen to hear this project, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you. I think I'm going to go with the JavaScript coding language, but if those of you are interested or that know a coding language, know Python, I think it's either going to be JavaScript or Python. I know a little more about JavaScript than I do Python right now, so I would rather stick with JavaScript at the moment. But those of you that know Python, if you have more information saying, yeah, this would be really easy to code in Python, by all means, I'm more than happy to be convinced otherwise. So reach out to me if you want to help with the development of this project in the coding sense. As for front-end testing and stuff like that, once I get to a point where I'm ready to test, I will then reach out to certain people and try to test it. But the end version of the project is you join, you make your brawling identity, you pick your Bakugan and deck, and then you will pick your cores and stuff like that, and then you go into a battle where I want to make it so you can challenge somebody, they accept your challenge, a room is automatically made for your brawl, and the bot basically steps you through the various phases of the brawl. Upon joining this Discord server, you're going to be able to make your brawling character, you're going to be able to choose your team of Bakugan, you're going to be able to choose all your Baku cores, you're going to be able to choose your deck, you're going to be able to construct everything. I'm going to allow once I've implemented both old and new Bakugan together, you're going to be allowed to pick 6 from each upon entry into the server for free. And then you're going to be able to earn credits, buy more cards, buy more cores, buy more Bakugan, stuff like that. So there's going to be that sort of economy system as well as the brawling system. I want this bot to do all the math for you. I want them to, so you don't have to worry about your opponent making a math error or you making a math error and the other person wins because somebody did something wrong math-wise. I want this to be something where it's almost foolproof. And it's going to take time. So get excited that this is a project that someone is working on, but do not make it, or do not get overexcited right at this moment, because it's going to take time. And I want this to be something the community makes. So if you have some sort of special idea or skill that you think might contribute to this project, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you. I love this series so much. Basically, I owe my life to this series. To Bakugan in general. Little backstory about me. One of my best friends and one of the friends I've had the longest co-owned a website with me back when Bakugan was still a thing, where we made a role-playing Bakugan forum. And we, had quite a few people on there that would brawl and stuff like that in a forum sense, but math errors were always something common. So I wanted to make it be something on Discord where we can have a bot do all the work for us, nothing gets messed up, whatever. So that's where this project is going. My best friend was also into Bakugan as much as me, so we worked on a project together, loved it, and I want to do it again. On the flip side, my fiance is actually one that I met through the series. Without this series, I would not have met one of my best friends, nor met my fiance. So I'm really, really invested in this series. I really want to do something very unique and interesting, and something that the entire fan base, old and new, will really enjoy. So again, if you are interested in trying to reach out and help with the coding process, feel free to reach out to me. I want to talk to you. I want to hear any ideas you have. I'll pitch my ideas for the code to you, see if you can help me. I would like to see some of the work that you've done if I, accept you onto the coding team at the moment.